What's going on, everybody? Happy Thursday. We got a whole bunch of crazy stuff to talk about. The man who stabbed Iryna Zarutska to death is on trial. They say that he's not fit for trial, but there's more to the story that people are not telling you. We're going to get into that in a minute. I have a message for Jaden Ivey. Please, young man, listen to me clearly. I'm going to save your marriage, I promise. We have the ultimate dummy of the day. An idiot filmed himself burning down an 11-block facility because they weren't paying him enough. Now you're going to go to prison, not get paid anything. Joel Osteen talks about his finances with Jake Paul. We're going to get to that. Before we get to any of that, we have to talk about Donald Trump going after Megyn Kelly, and I think it was 100% justified. Welcome to the Officer Tatum Show.
I want everybody in this room to have that same spirit, that same identity carried in your life.
Make sure that you go through life and find your purpose.
And we don't do this just to get a pat on the back. We do it because we came here to win.
And it starts with you understanding that God has a purpose for you.
This is the time to be more bold than ever before.
We're all Americans at the end of the day, and we should love one another. We should be focused on what's right for our country. Welcome back to the Officer Tatum Show. I want to give a quick shout out to our members, especially our deputy chiefs. So let's put them on the screen real quick. Shout out to our deputy chiefs. Thank you so much for being supporters. We have two loyal supporters when it comes to deputy chiefs. Nothing against anybody else. These individuals are able and capable of supporting at that level, and I appreciate you, and I want to show you some love for that. Also, we went into depth. I mean, literally, I think Grant almost cried in this episode. Y'all better watch this. Let me give you a quick preview on what you missed as the members of the Officer Tatum. Roll the clip. Some people in his family think I'm getting paid by Israel. It doesn't bother me, but it's very bizarre that people actually think that, man. A guy threatened to kill my family and Trump and everybody. The Secret Service is involved in everything. And what was his complaint to me? Is that I'm a Jew lover or something. I think it's a spiritual battle going on, man. Is in it. Is in it. It's spiritual. I can see it as sure as the noonday sun, bro. Once you devolve to the point of hating God's people, everything you do in life begin to fall apart and get weird. You know, the stuff that saying is weird. The stuff that she said about Turning Point and all these people out here saying, I'm just asking questions. That's like saying, why Brandon don't fly instead of driving a car every day? That's not a real question. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you're interested in seeing more of that, I think it was a whole hour. I think we were talking for almost an hour, and we got deep into spirituality and, you know, God's purpose for your life. So go ahead, check it out if you're a member. If you're not a member, join and go watch it. Let's get to the first topic of the day. I cannot wait to get to Joel Osteen, and I have comments for Jaden Ivey, and I hope that he adhered to this. I've been there, done that. There's things that he needs to listen. And when I talk about that topic, I want you guys to like, to share, to send it to somebody. I hope it get to Jaden Ivey. We need to reach out to him. I want to give the brother advice before he loses his whole family. Okay? But before we get to that, we got to talk about Donald Trump. Donald Trump is on a spree. I did. And this is classic Donald Trump, and this is why I love him, because he said exactly what he feels. And I think it comes across very well for people that are like me, that believe in being transparent about how you feel and not always being measured and you know, trying to capitulate to what society tells you should and shouldn't say because you're in a certain position. No, you just keep it like it is so we know how you feel and we can make that determination. But Donald Trump goes after Megyn Kelly, and I think it's 100% justified. Let's roll the clip.
They asked me that horrible, horrible question, remember? And I said, oh, my dad, that's the first question I ever got. Megyn Kelly, may she rest in peace. She's sort of making a career by pretending she likes me. And then, so what happened is she asked me that horrible question.
So that's just a little bit of what Donald Trump said at apparently a rally or a speech. And I guarantee you, now we don't have Megyn Kelly's full response to that specific statement, but I guarantee you money back, she's going to play the victim and say Donald Trump is wishing for her death and do all of this old crazy stuff. When I do think that Megyn Kelly, and this is somebody I really admired after she left mainstream media and started on podcasts, I really thought she was great, and she fell off a cliff. I mean, these people get so deranged, and then they start going, you know, out of control. They just say the most random stuff. I mean, literally changing everything about who they have always been. One thing about B. Tatum is that you know that I've never changed. My philosophy, thought process, and everything comes to the same conclusion on every topic. And it is the conclusion of reasonableness. Nothing is gearing me, targeting me, moving me towards a certain perspective. Everything is rooted in facts, logic, and wisdom, and that's how I come to determinations on different things. These people have literally changed everything about themselves. Here's Megyn Kelly in short with a somewhat of a response to Donald Trump's war efforts in Iran. Roll it.
Now, as you can imagine, that post did not go over well with the Iranians or with many Americans. I mean, I don't know about you, but I am sick of this. I'm sick of it. Can't he just behave like a normal human? I mean, honestly, like the president, 3D chess, shut up. Shut up about that shit. You don't threaten to wipe out an entire civilization. We're talking about civilians just casually in a social media post. You know, like I am the first to try to understand Trump and his strategy and to not freak out over his weird social media posts and language that is loose and incendiary. Truly, I've lived with it for 10 plus years. I learned it the hard way when I was on the receiving end of it for 9 months. And truly, I think that was a gift to me in many ways because it helped me really come to understand what he does with his social media. But this is completely irresponsible and disgusting. This is wrong. It's wrong. He should not be doing it. I don't care that it's his negotiation tactic is to kill an entire country full of civilians, men, women, and children. And
let me pause real quick. Megyn Kelly, I don't know if you slipped and bumped your head, or maybe your husband needs to take you aside and coach you a little bit. He didn't do it. He's threatening to do it. And because you don't run anything and you don't have any of the acumen that he has, and that's why you'll never be a president of the United States of America and you'll never be successful in the ways that Trump is successful, is because when you're dealing with suicidal maniacs, threatened deadly force is the only thing that they'll listen to. As you see, they agreed to a ceasefire. They didn't want that smoke. You see, they came to the table, didn't they? Y'all got to stop acting like we're living in a society or living in a world where you can communicate with people like regular individuals. Yeah, we're going to do this. How has that worked for our country over the last, I don't know, since the beginning of time? You're not talking to regular people. These people don't live in reality. Donald Trump know what he's talking about. He know what things he has to say and how crazy he has to present himself to crazed lunatics. He's not talking to a person down the street because you don't see him saying that to regular people. When you're talking to a regime that got murder on their mind, death to America, we had to kill all of their leadership, and they still are not cooperating. Sometimes you got to get in their face and say, I'll clean house. Do you want to play with me? They don't respond to this wussification of language because it sounds appropriate to you. They respond to violence. They respond to genocide. And then they start coming to the table and saying, okay, Trump, oh yeah, all right, man, look, we'll open up the strait. We'll do this. All that plan has never worked. But because she is falling off a cliff, all of a sudden she's so, irate at Donald Trump making a negotiation tactic that works. Roll the clip.
American president so that the Strait of Hormuz will be opened? It's just wrong. It's not hard to say it. It's not hard to recognize it. I wish he would stop doing this. Like, he can't negotiate without doing this. What does that say about him? What does that say about the position that our country is in right now in these negotiations? He's got to say this. He can't be a dignified, strong leader without threatening a bunch of war crimes. Like, what is he, Genghis Khan? Like, what is he trying to do? And why can't he do it with strength, threats? Sure, go for it. That don't diminish and demean the United States of America in this way.
It's funny. They all reading off the same script. They all saying the same thing. It's demeaning America. It's demeaning Christianity. It's like you're not talking to regular people. These are people that kill individuals, and hopefully the new regime wants to act right. But what do you want him to say, Megyn Kelly? The same thing that every other president has said with these false claims of, oh, we're going to do something about it if you do this, and they never do anything. They only respond to murder. They only respond to the threat of violence. Have you not gotten that at this point? Sick of these people. All right, here's another clip from Megyn Kelly. Roll it.
As this thing goes south, we need to know exactly who talked him into it.
Oh, here you
and
go.
what representations were made.
Here you go.
To convince the president that this was a good idea.
Oh,
Who specifically? The names we know are Bibi Netanyahu first and foremost. Lindsey Graham, equally to blame. We know from the Wall Street Journal report that Mark Thiessen of Fox News and General Jack Keane were major advocates of the war. Okay? Like those guys, but they appear to have been very wrong that this was a good idea. And we could keep going. Mark Levin, chief among them. He says now.
Time out. Give me the screen. Do you like? I know people that have a low level of frequency, and they're uninformed people. Listen to this and go, yeah, these. Do you really think Mark Levin called Trump? Trump is looking at the country and his leadership and everything he's built, his family legacy, everything, and he's saying, you know what? I'm not going to war because the American people voted for me not to go to war. Oh, hold on. It's Mark Levin. I should go to war? Okay, we're going to war and I'm going to kill everybody because Mark Levin said so. You think Trump don't listen to, you think people were telling Trump, don't tweet that. Trump's like, man, I do what I do. Matter of fact, since you try to tell me not to do it, I'm going to go crazier. But you think that Lindsey Graham called Trump is like, Trump, I think we need to go to war, and a never-ending war. We need to go and fight on behalf of Israel. And he go, yeah, Mark, I'm not listening to any of the generals. I'm not listening to any head of the military. I'm not listening to any intelligence briefings. I'm listening to Mark Levin and Lindsey Graham. You think Trump listening to Mark Levin and Lindsey Graham? You think Trump is sitting in the Oval Office saying, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to put our troops in danger. Oh, Bibi calling me. Bibi now, what's up, bro? You want us to kill everybody on your behalf. This doesn't benefit anybody but you. That makes perfect sense. Hey, everybody, we're going to do what Bibi wants us to do today. You think Trump is doing, you think that's how the conversation go? Let me put this in perspective too. Are you in any intelligence briefings? Do you know how intel is transferred from another country to the United States of America? Who's in the room, Megyn Kelly? How is this presented? A PowerPoint presentation? A phone call? They got a pigeon that's sending a message? How do you think this is even presented to the United States of America? And we get the information, and you think that we don't filter none of it. Nobody is questioning anything. Nobody's concerned about anything. Nobody's doing anything. It's just we take the information and we run with it. And we use billions of dollars to send our troops all around the country. No strategy. We have no strategy. We just, Bibi said it, let's go do something random that we never planned to do. You think with no planning involved in this? No coordination involved in this? That's why Iran has no capabilities to do just about anything. We run their airspace, ma'am. We got our planes flying everywhere. We killed all of their leadership. How? Clearly, we have good intelligence to know where they're at to drop the bombs to eliminate their entire leadership in the first night. But Bibi Netanyahu randomly fly down here on a private jet and say, look, man, we got information that they got weapons of mass destruction and uranium enrichment. No, you do have to show you proof? No, you don't have to show me any proof, Bibi, because you're Bibi. Oh, no, we'll get into a never-ending war just because you're Bibi. And Bibi, you got control of our country. Although you rely on the United States for your military support. And although we've negotiated a deal where the 1% of our GDP that we give you, you have to spend in the United States of America, but you run us. Oh yeah, Bibi, if you without America, you guys will be disintegrated off planet Earth. But no, you run us and we don't run you. Tell us more of what we should do, Bibi. Shut the front door. Trump don't listen to nobody. You talking out both sides of your mouth. He crazy, he's out of control, but then he's listening to everybody else. Come on. Is that it? Is that all we got from this woman? We got her on Piers Morgan. Why play her on Piers Morgan? Roll it.
We are sick of being the policemen of the world, of being dragged into conflict after conflict by Bibi Netanyahu. by Israel, who's supposed to be our special ally. But what they're special at is getting us to fight their wars and get involved in their conflicts that they can't fight by themselves. That's what Dan Kane said to President Trump the day after Netanyahu came for the 7th time and was sitting in that Situation Room like an equal. He said that they're great on intelligence. That's supposed to be the area in which they're so special to us. They share their intelligence. They're great on it. But that intelligence doesn't always seem to pan out. Like, the regime will fall easily. The Iranian people will revolt in the streets and take over. With how? They don't have guns. Bombs would be raining down. Wasn't this thought through? There isn't regime change. The Iranian people are arguably worse off than they were before. And it's all based on Bibi Netanyahu's special intelligence, which cost at least 15 American lives, the fracturing of the Trump coalition, probably at least the next 2 elections for Republicans, not to mention the amount of lives and blood and treasure that was spilled in the Middle East. So great job.
See, and dumb, ignorant fools like her, you're the reason. It's not Trump's fault. You're the one pushing stupidity. Donald Trump killed everybody in the first day that they were out there. How do you think our jets and everything is all over their country with virtually no resistance? Why don't you support your own country? Why don't you advocate for the things that we've already done in such a breakneck speed? We lost 15 people. When you look at the scale of what we've been able to do in that country, 15 people is very small in number in comparison to what war would be like if they were actually competitive against us. I don't know why these people jump off a cliff, man. This woman is talking like she's in the intelligence briefing, and Benjamin Netanyahu is coming over and giving a presentation to Donald Trump on intel. I just don't get why people turn on their own country like this. You are trying to say that we are so incompetent as a nation that we don't evaluate intelligence when it comes in? Like what kind of country you think we run it? How do you think we're the leader in the free world? As if we're so incompetent on one issue when it comes to Israel and Bibi. And she's not in any of these briefings. So how do you know what Bibi told Trump? You don't know. You're assuming. You know, when we went to Iraq and Afghanistan for 20 years, Israel had no involvement in that. They had no military support. And the leader of Israel argued that we shouldn't even go into Iraq and Afghanistan. That's why they didn't support us. That was our decision to do that. But when your mind is cuckoo, this is the kind of stuff. Let's get to the next clip. Dummy of the day, this dude in Ontario, California. Now, listen to what I'm going to say. Y'all have seen this going viral all over the internet. You see that this guy had burned down this facility that's absolutely massive, 11-block facility. One person doing it? I think there's something else to this. These buildings are built with fire code. When you have a building this massive, it is built so that the whole building can't burn down at one time. And so you would argue that there's fire code regulations that block off rooms to isolate fires like this from spreading to the entire building through secure doors, all of those different things that you have, sprinkler systems, so that they don't have a warehouse that's completely burned in one swath. Now, how in the world did this whole thing burn down with one person? If you ask me, I think it could be an inside job or something else going on here. One person burnt this whole building down, and you telling me this building was able to burn like this? And California has the most restrictions that you can imagine on anything. And you telling me this building is incapable of not burning completely down with toilet paper or paper towels in an 11-block facility. Whole building burned down. That's suspicious to me. Roll the clip.
Tonight, police say this massive warehouse fire was allegedly the work of a disgruntled employee.
One person?
Stunning new video appears to show the start of the fire. In the footage posted to social media, you hear someone say all you had to do was pay us enough to live, as stacks of toilet paper burn.
All you had to do was pay us enough to live. There goes your inventory.
Last night, police announced the arrest of Chamil Abdul Karim on suspicion of multiple felony arson-related charges, adding the 29-year-old is an employee of NFI Industries, a third-party distributor for Kimberly-Clark, the company known for manufacturing paper-based personal care and hygiene products.
We can confirm that he was on scene of the fire at the time that it started, yes.
In a statement, police say they can't comment on specifics, but are aware of this video, adding they will be utilizing any evidence for the investigation. According to fire officials, the blaze broke out in the early morning hours of yesterday in Ontario, California. Flames shot up in back of nearby homes as the fire tore through the approximately 1,000,000-square-foot warehouse.
Definitely was uncharacteristic fire. It definitely pushed our firefighters into that defensive operation, and that was one indication that it could possibly be a arson of nature.
In a statement, Kimberly Clark said no one was injured and all workers were safely evacuated. Kareem has yet to be formally charged and is being held without bail.
So think about this. Imagine being that stupid where you say, all you had to do was pay us more, so now everybody lose their jobs, and I go to prison for the rest of my life. Like you could just got another job. I mean, I don't know. What else you got to say? This is your inventory. Now you go to prison forever because you recorded yourself doing it. And then what about everybody else's job? Some people probably thought they were getting paid fine. Now they have no work. Their jobs are gone. Everybody lost their job at one time. You that stupid and selfish that you say because my employer don't pay me what I think I'm worth, everybody lose their job and I go to prison for the rest of my life and I get paid nothing. And I'm probably Big Tony gonna be on my back in the first 30 days. Does that make sense to you? Some people are so stupid, but like I said, I think that there must be a little more to this because there's big issues here. If one person can burn a 1,000,000-square-foot facility to the ground, that somebody is not doing their job. Their fire code, there's something not right about this. You tell me that the sprinkler system can't put out fires from toilet paper and plastic in isolated zones? Y'all have no technology. It's 2026, and they can't stop a 1,000,000-foot facility that's probably got hundreds of millions of dollars worth of inventory from burning completely to the ground at the hands of one person with a lighter in their hand. That sounds crazy. Two left shoes on an 8-legged man. All right. Let's show, I think we showed the aftermath of it. This is just a quick clip of it. Look at how massive this fire is. Here's the aftermath. Roll it. 1,000,000 square feet, completely disintegrated. One person, one lighter. Could it be insurance fraud? I don't know. But another thing I want to add to it is that you just lost your life or lost a portion of your life. You just lost your job. Everybody there lost their jobs. The people that own the facility didn't lose nothing. Do you not realize that they have insurance and all that stuff? So if that stuff burned down, they're gonna probably make money off of it. That makes zero sense. The rich keep getting richer. They probably don't even that's a bank loan. They probably don't even own that facility outright. It burnt down, they get the insurance money, and they go build another one. And you ain't got no job, and they still worth hundreds of millions and billions of dollars. What a dumb you-know-what. All right, Jaden Ivey, brother, this for you. But before we get to Jaden Ivey, I want to mention that we got 75% off on the Tatum store. 75% off. I'm trying to get rid of all this inventory because I want to get you guys the new stuff that we're launching. I want to get the new stuff. We got a whole new revamp of a few things, and I want to get you guys 75% off of Tatum store. So all you got to do is go to tatumstore.com. Tatumstore.com, 75% off. Yeah, and then we cap the shipping. So you save on shipping, and you're getting 75% off. I pretty much am making no money. It's like I'm zeroing out. So get as much inventory as you can. I want it all gone, ladies and gentlemen. I want to launch our new stuff. And I know a lot of you guys love the new stuff. And so we're working on a few things, but I want all that stuff gone. 75% off, tatumstore.com, tatumstore.com. All right, let's get to Jaden Ivey. Jaden, listen to me, son. Listen to me, young man. I've been there. When I first got saved, I was on fire for Christ. But I want you to understand something. Your biggest win with Jesus Christ of Nazareth is your lifestyle, not your words. Anybody can say words. Anybody can go out and try to preach the gospel on the street corner, getting nobody to convert because nobody want to hear you just talk about sin and all this other stuff, and you don't have anything else to offer. The best way to do this, and I confronted a guy that was on the street doing the same thing. If you look at the sign, it's hell, sin. And most people that come to Christ don't come to Christ through fear. They come to Christ through love. When they understand that they're at the lowest of the low, they have nobody to turn to, and Christ still loved them even though they cutting up in their life. That love is what draw people near to Christ. It's not you going to hell. That only all that you're going to hell, you're going to hell, you're going to hell without any context to it. All you're doing is offending people and making people upset with you, and they're not gonna listen to nothing you have to say. And I'm not saying you give them cookie cutter information, but there's a tactic and a strategy to this. And I'll say this too before I play the clip. Jaden, don't lose your whole family trying to save the world. You think you're gonna save the world? You think you're gonna preach your way into heaven and then you lose your own family? Because your wife is the most important person in this world to you, not the people on the street that don't give a care what you're saying. You need to make sure you take care of your house. You need to make sure that your wife is happy. You need to make sure that you guys are safe. Being on the internet and trying to quote unquote preach the gospel and you lose everything, what is the point of doing that? You do it strategically. You take care of your house, your wife, your kids, you raise them right, you live the lifestyle before man, and they will come to you and wonder, what's happening? Why do you not cuss anymore? Why do you not do these things anymore? And that's your opportunity to preach the gospel to them. But this whole street corner preaching, I don't think people come to Christ that way. When somebody living like the devil and you just telling them they going to hell, that ain't gonna make them want to change. That make them want to rebel even more. And I'll say this real quick before I play the clip, and I know you guys be mad that I don't play the clip right away. I'll get to it. We'll edit this out. But the way I used to do it when I was witnessing on campus is I have conversations one-to-one with people. They'll walk through, I'll say something to them, and we'll have a conversation. And that conversation goes way further because if they're not interested, they'll let you know they're not interested. You planted a seed. But you have to meet people where they're at. All that one size fit all, tell everybody they're going to die, go to hell and burn. And you're not reaching anybody. Some people need to have more information. Some people have been hurt by the church. It's better for you to articulate to them and answer their questions right there on the spot than for you to just blare out stuff. All right, here's the clip. Roll it.
Hey, for you, Jaden Ivey. Tree of life. That boy for the same.
Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God.
You know, let me just say this too, real quick. When you say blessed are the pure in heart, for they will see God, you know, that's like trying to do a one size fit all, and you speak in a language that not everybody speak, and you think they're gonna come to Christ over that. Sometimes you quoting a scripture is not the most appropriate way to communicate with people. When Jesus Christ, he didn't just quote the Torah. He spoke in parables. He had a strategy to how he would get people to realize what they were doing without necessarily being the one hammering them. One thing that I've learned as a Christian over time is that it's better for a person to realize that they won't go to heaven without you telling them they're not going to heaven. There's two different things. You're going to hell if you don't live right versus giving a parable or an example where to make them think to themselves and they have to make that determination in their mind like, oh man, I'm not going to make it if, well, dang, that's kind of interesting. Let me play the clip. Roll it. Roll the next clip. Him and his wife.
Praise
Roll
God. I got my wife here.
Oh, please stop.
She loves me. She loves God. She's obeying God.
Your family is most important. You know, be strategic about the way you present Christ. You know, the best way, like, let me give y'all an example of how I think you'll win more souls on a street corner than doing what most of these street preachers do. If you are just saying you're going to hell, blessed is the ones who do this and everybody else going to hell, that's versus if you say, and you're preaching on a street corner and you go, I know you've been hurt. And you generally speaking to people, I know that person hurt you and it's hard to forgive them. I know that you feel like life is not going your way. And I know that these things are like, give people real world experiences where God can prick their hearts on what they're going through. But you have to meet people. People that are not coming to Christ, it's not just because they're evil. Some people are evil, but a lot of people are hurting. They need to address the underlying issues in their heart. And when you begin to preach to them about the underlying issues in their heart, that makes them want to hear more of what you need to say. Preaching the gospel is not just quoting the Bible. I want people to understand that we've fallen into a loop where you go, if I quote John 3:16, no, there's a spirit behind the quote of John 3:16. A lot of times you can preach to people without even quoting the Bible. Some people that are not privy to the Bible, that just sound like hogwash. Thou art, thou finished, thou art. People are like, wait, I don't even talk to people the way they experience life. You know, when my life was going downhill and whatever the case may be, the thing that drew me near to God was hearing the message of Jesus Christ. What Jesus Christ said. Hell didn't make me come to Christ. The love of Christ made me realize where I was wrong. And that Christ loved me so much, even in the dirt that I'm doing. And I do not deserve grace. That came to me as I'm reflecting and hearing what Christ is presenting. And people may disagree with me on this, it's fine, but I think the way Jaden is doing, what is the repercussions? He's embarrassing his wife. He's embarrassing his family. He got cut from a team. And let me just say this. I got to get this off my chest. When you're doing this, you need to use wisdom. When you are a bench player on a team, criticizing the organization may not be the smartest move for you. Just live the life and people will see better than you say. A lot of people claim Christ and they preach and they talk and they are devils in real life. The way when I got saved, and I wasn't perfect and I made mistakes, but when I first got saved, I didn't go to the locker room and go, y'all need to stop listening to that music. Quit going sleep with them girls on the weekend. And you got to think, I had just come from that life. That wasn't what God put in my heart. I'm going to tell y'all now that I'm changed, I'm going to tell everybody that they need change. When I was just in the locker room cussing and acting up with everybody in here, they saw that I changed. They saw that I wasn't cussing. I didn't have to jump on, I didn't have to get a thing and preach in the locker room. They saw, Brandon, they come to me. Brandon, dude, it's something different about you. I'm like, man, I went to church, bro, and God changed my life. I ain't press them. They had to reflect on stuff that God was dealing with them, and they come to me. Hey, Brandon, hey, man, you got a couple scriptures you can give me? Oh, yeah, for sure. Hey, man, here's things I think you should read. Boom, I'm gone. Then they come back to me, hey, I want to get baptized. Oh, let me bring you to the church, bro. Let God deal with these people. You in there, got the whole locker room at you talking about, oh, y'all sinning, and that music is bad, and that. No, man. What happens, y'all, is that people see Christ in you and it make them feel some type of way. They see how Christ moving in you and that spirit is moving. You ain't got to say nothing. They can feel it. And when they feel it and they ready, they going to come to you. In Groves, it's like 7 people in the athletic department got saved when I got saved. And I didn't preach not one time. It was rumored. Brandon changed, boy. There's something different about Brandon. The way he moving, the way he acting, the way he talking. Dude, he's so generous and loving and kind. What's going on? Like, how did that happen to him? I want that for me. Hey, man, here's the Bible. Here's the word. Let me pray with you, whatever case may be. It's a different approach. Anyway, let's get to the next story. Here's one that I really want to talk about today because there's huge misinformation. And I need to clear this up. And this is the police mind in me. As a former cop, I always have to evaluate these things because it's never what you hear on the news. People are outraged right now because they believe that idiot that stabbed the young lady on the transit system in cold blood is somehow not competent to stand trial. Well, that's not the final solution. The judge has not made a decision or determination. And I know a lot of people are frustrated at the judge and they want the judge to be, off the bench and them to go to prison for life and they should be held accountable and how dare they. The judge has nothing to do with this yet. The defense can make any claim that they want. A defense team is going to try to get their client the best position possible. The defense went and got him evaluated, and the evaluators say he's not fit to stand trial. Now, the judge has to evaluate the information that's provided and make a determination of whether or not he's fit to stand trial or not. That has not happened yet. So our prayer and what we should be advocating for is that the judge makes the right decision when the time comes. And there's also a misconception. between not fit to stand trial and a plea of insanity. The plea of insanity is when a person is claiming that they were not sane. They weren't sane when they committed the crime, which means this guy was out of his mind and he didn't know what was going on when he committed the crime. That's not what they're presenting. That's not what the defense is presenting, and that's not what the trial is being determined by. Fitness for trial is whether or not the person can cognitively understand their defense, evidence, cross-examination. Do they even know the gravity of what's going on? And that person can be not fit for trial. Now, there's two things. A judge can say that's bull crap, you're going to stand trial, done. Or they can let a person free. Or they can be committed to a mental institution. There's different avenues that can happen. So we're not there yet, but I understand the outrage because I believe that this person is fit to stand trial. He was fit enough to do all that crime for the last, I don't know how many years, 13 mugshots, and he's also fit, and he understands exactly what's going on. But the defense is going to do whatever they want to do. Here is some of the news clips from that topic. Roll it.
We're learning Decarlos Brown Jr., the felon charged with the murder of Iryna Zarutska on a North Carolina light rail, has been found incapable to proceed with trial. The decision comes after a mental health evaluation. So Decarlos Brown has a string of prior charges dating back more than a decade, including a felony, larceny, and robbery with a dangerous weapon. Brown's lawyers are now asking the court to push back a scheduled April 30th hearing for another 6 months. It's pretty unbelievable. How many times can this man continue to commit crimes and be judged incapable of being accountable for his crimes? It's not just larceny. It's not just robbery. Now it's cold-blooded murder.
All right, let's clarify this real quick. He's 100% right, but let's clarify this real quick. The 180-day pushing back the trial 180 days is time for the courts to do one or two things. Normally, they push the trial back. It's not indefinite. They have to determine if there is mental health treatment that he can get to get him up to speed to be able to stand trial, right? If a person is off his meds during the trial period and they're incapable, they can get on the proper medication and they will then be capable of standing trial. So that's what that 180-day period is for them to resolve this. They have 180 days to resolve this. It's not that they want to push it 180 days for this guy to completely get off. They have to show a good faith effort that there is a resolution to this or they're attempting a resolution. And a lot of times these people that are like him may be off of meds and haven't had treatment, and they can get him treatment within 180 days. Therefore, they can get him stable enough to stand trial. But I understand, why people are outraged, but these are just some of the clarifying issues that we need to be cognizant of so we don't just completely blow a gasket and be living in a state of fear and panic when that's not where the case is going or accurately is at this point. Abby Phillips said a couple stupid things, and I want to go to her, and then we're going to go to Joel Osteen.
One of the failures that we have is that we have not figured out how to actually provide that kind of care. Mm-hmm. That, if someone is actually seriously mentally ill, maybe on the verge of violence, where do they go?
We're unwilling
Except
to
on the
put
street.
in
North Carolina, not on the verge of violence.
Actually, they need to go to prison. That's where they need to go. They need to get mental health treatment in prison. And if they're in prison and they can't get mental health treatment, I'm sorry. You committed the crime. Stay in there if we can't help you, right? It makes no sense to say, well, we don't have treatment facilities and jail is just making them worse. Well, they get out and kill people is worse. So if we can't help you recover you, then you need to sit in prison. And we could give you resources from behind bars. We don't let you out into the public because we can't help you and let you go commit other crimes for the next 15 years until you finally kill somebody. And then now you got to go to prison forever. And we can't help you anyway now either. Roll it.
Demonstrated violence in the past and nobody flagged it. Actually, the police, to your point, said we're going to refer you to more resources, and that went nowhere. So there were multiple.
Nobody flagged it. He served time for his violent offenses.
Not for his schizophrenia.
That's
not a crime.
No, I know, but I'm saying that was compounding this entire issue.
I know,
the fact that he lashed out violently on that.
I know. I'm just saying he did actually serve time for the violent offenses that he committed.
But he was a career criminal, a repeat offender who was let back onto our streets despite a really bad criminal record that suggests he should have been locked away for life because he was threatening the public. He was a menace to society.
Time out. Now look at these weirdos going to try to twist the words up. I can interpret exactly what she's saying. She's saying that he wasn't flagged, right? Because he has schizophrenia. And if he's committing crime and crime and crime and he has schizophrenia and they're not addressing it, that means he's not flagged. Nobody's holding him accountable. She said he should be locked away for a long time. Yes, because they're not giving him enough time and he's crazy. You know, when you go to trial after something happens and you don't get bond, it's because you're a danger to the public. That's why they don't let you out. You got to stay in there. This guy getting 13 crimes plus he's schizophrenic. They didn't give him enough time in prison. If he can get out after committing that many crimes and then kill somebody, they're going to try to misconstrue something else she say, but this woman is 100% right. But I'm going to play it, listen to it, and then I'm going to interject on her behalf because she didn't get a chance to fix what she said. Roll it.
He should have been locked away for life for what now?
He should have schizophrenia.
You want him to...
You actually said that. I can't believe you actually said that. Somebody should be locked away in jail forever for schizophrenia.
Time out. She clearly said locked away, meaning in a mental institution. Locked away is not just imprisoned. That's not what she's saying. She's going to clarify, but I want y'all to watch how these fools try to twist her words. They saw her do it, and then they went off the head. They don't listen to nothing she said. They go, oh, she said that. That's not what she said, and she clarified what she said, and they still want to make her look bad. This is not a conversation. This is them ganging up on her because they want that guy to be right and her to be wrong. Roll it.
Isolated.
Did you really say that?
Isolated.
Did you really say that?
In an institution.
Is this actually...
Institutionalized. What you're saying is that this man should have been roaming the streets.
I'm saying that you don't lock people in prison for schizophrenia.
An institution.
What kind of institution?
A mental institution, you dumb nut job. I hate people like this. I don't hate them. I hate what they do. They gang up on you and they do all that weird stuff. Dude, use your common sense. She said locked away in an institution. Won't you evaluate what she's saying and then meet her where she's trying to articulate instead of throwing out these things? Oh, no, she said locked away for life. She go in an institution. Locked away for life. I can't believe she said locked away for the rest of his life. He need to go to jail for being schizophrenic. She said in an institution. They don't listen to it. What's the other girl? She said something stupid too. Let it play.
If you're talking about providing full wraparound services for people, I understand that. But at some point, people do get out when they have been treated and rehabilitated.
Sure, but that didn't happen here. He didn't go to an institution at all.
But you're
and so he stabbed a woman.
Are
said he should be locked away for life.
There's thousands and thousands of people in America, more than tens, hundreds of thousands, who have been diagnosed with schizophrenia that are walking around and that are leading fairly normal lives because they are under treatment.
A lot of people
so
who are mentally
are we going to lock up
violent.
everybody with schizophrenia for life?
He demonstrated violent proclivities repeatedly.
You said he should be locked away for life for schizophrenia.
That
is what you said.
Institutionalized. Yes, and if you're
saying
saying he should not, you're saying that young women like you and me are basically just we're lambs into the slaughter. You go on public transportation in this city, that could happen to any single one of us.
I use public transit constantly. That is completely unhinged, frankly. People shouldn't be locked away for mental illness. They should be treated for it.
In an institution. Yes.
For life?
And they don't want to listen to nothing she said. They don't want to care about nothing she said. Why don't they meet her where, he should be locked away? Listen, he shouldn't be locked away, and it's not what she was saying. He shouldn't be locked away for life just because he's schizophrenic. He should be locked away for life because he is a danger to the public and he commits crimes and murder and all kind of stuff. That's why he should be locked away. He's not he can't be rehabilitated. That's why he should be locked away. If you can't rehabilitate the guy, he need to be somewhere in prison for his crimes, or he needs to be in a mental institution for his mental health problems that cannot be resolved. He cannot be in the public. That's not the public's fault that this fool is crazy. Okay. Let's get to Joel Osteen because this is where I really want to talk about Joel Osteen. But I want to get to Synergy real quick. Thank you all for a lot of y'all getting Synergy. Great reviews. Some of y'all on monthly subscriptions, which is incredible. I can almost guarantee that your life will change tremendously if you take Synergy day and night in a cycle for a week straight. Give it a try. And if it don't work for you, we'll give your money back. We'll give you money back. I don't need to make money if the thing don't work for you. If it changes your life, keep buying it. If it don't change your life, like I mentioned, or it don't work for you, and you don't get the best sleep of your life, or you don't get clean energy without crashing, like it's promised, come on, I'll give you money back. We'll bring it back in here. That's how confident I am with this product and how many great reviews we've had. And I think we're probably a couple thousand 5-star reviews already. So anyway, give it a try if you want to. Therefore, if it don't work, we'll send it back to us. We'll get all your money back. All right, let's get to Joel Osteen real quick. I have a tremendous problem with these pastors being deceptive about being wealthy. That's it. If you're going to get wealthy off the church and everybody knows this is what you're doing, then tell us like it is and be wealthy. And if the people, the parishioners of your church love it and they still want to donate and support you and you're riches and I don't know what, and you're making billions of dollars off the church, just go ahead and admit that. And if people are cool with that, I'm cool with it. I ain't got nothing to say. I don't go to your church. But quit being deceptive about how you became a multi-millionaire off of the church. Roll the clip.
Where are the Bentleys, the yachts, and the jets? Because this is a big place. I don't know if there's a garage somewhere or some sort of parking spot for the boats.
Would you be down to take me on a ride?
Yeah,
in your Bentley after
or
this?
my G650?
Yeah, that's right. In my fleet of cars. No, you know what?
He didn't mention that jet, did he?
People like to make up stuff, but I don't think I've ever sat in a Ferrari, and they show me pictures of me driving Ferraris and fleets of cars, and Joel's got his yachts and jets and stuff, but I never respond to it.
Wait, so you have no yachts?
I have no yachts.
Wait.
I have no jets. I have no
you
cars.
won't even have one jet.
I don't have one jet. I've never owned a jet. I've never owned a yacht or,
Can somebody look this up? Does the ministry own a jet? We're going to look this up real quick. This is where I would like for him to be transparent. I would like him to say, I don't own a jet. The ministry owns a jet, and I use the ministry's jet. He's framing it like I don't own a jet. Like there's no way Joel Osteen isn't flying private. Either he's chartering the jet and don't own it, but you're flying private. I see through this stuff so much. I'm gonna get back to it. I promise. Give me 30 seconds. It bothers me because I would like for him to articulate very clearly that I don't own a jet, but I charter a jet when I travel. Because you don't need to own the jet to be flying private. Chartering jets and you're traveling 100 times a year is millions of dollars of spending on a jet. You don't need to own it. But does the church own it? Like, be clear about this and quit acting like you just live in this lifestyle where you just driving a Honda Civic and living in a $500,000 house. I don't own jets. The church owns it all, and I use it. Come on, bro, roll it.
A fleet of cars or.
So let's talk through it. The ministry here, the church has its value. It's obviously has a ton of people that come in and make donations, and there's donations digitally from the outside. You don't take a salary from the church.
I don't take a salary from the church
anymore.
I've been blessed with book sales and media and other things, so I don't have to take a salary. So I can work here for basically no salary, and I haven't for most of the time, the 26 years here or so. So, but people like to think it's all about money and things like that. But I'm the ones that want to try to discredit you. But it's never taken a salary.
It may not be all about the money for Joel Osteen, but when somebody says, because he used to take a salary from he stopped taking a salary in 2005 of a salary of $200,000 a year. Now, this is the scam that some of these pastors do, and people do it in nonprofits all the time. But just be transparent about what's going on. What they do is they're at the church. The church has millions of dollars in a budget for marketing. So Joel Osteen is on television. Joel Osteen church is broadcast around the world. Joel Osteen, on the back of the church and people's tithe and offering, is building his personal profile to this point. When Joel Osteen gets to this point, because of the church funding and marketing and all the things that the church provide for him, then he sells a book personally. After the church has elevated his status to here, he goes sell a book personally, and now he's making hundreds of millions of dollars off of books, entertainment, and everything from the church elevating his brand. Like, for instance, let me give y'all an example. When I first started out, I probably was making like $3,000 a month doing YouTube, right? This is a for-profit. So I had to build my audience. I had to do everything, money out of my own pocket. Build. And then now you build a YouTube channel that's probably worth 7 figures. That's all done through profit and investment internally. Now just read, and then now that I have millions and millions and millions of followers, if I sold a book, it's gonna make millions of dollars potentially, right? Now let's reverse that. I'm asking you to give me money as a donation for your salvation. And that's building my audience. And that's building my brand. And that's building my stuff to up here. And then I sell a book and now claim it as a personal thing. And of course I don't need a salary because the church has already helped me get to the point where I can make millions of dollars doing other stuff by building my brand. Just be honest about it. And the only problem I have with these churches is that, what does it say? Oh yeah, the church had $100 million renovation. That's one thing. But I just want people to be honest about it. I'm using research, wisdom, politics, whatever the case may be. I'm talking about it. I'm giving you guys a synopsis of it. You know, I'm doing the studying so you don't have to study. I'm doing all of that, right? I'm giving you a certain product that you're interested in. To use the Bible and salvation as a product, that to me precludes you from being able to be incredibly wealthy off of that. Like, I would be totally fine with Joel Osteen saying, I built up the church built me up as the head and the personality in the church, and I sold a book that proceeds go back to the church. The church wrote a book. That's the part that gets me, is that the church builds you and then you get the personally benefit off of it. Now, people may disagree. At the end of the day, I don't care. I don't go to your church. I don't support you. You got to answer to God for this stuff. It just bothers me that these people do this underhanded stuff where they don't articulate very clearly how the money game works. Some of these pastors, and I'm saying majority of the churches, people ain't making money like this. Just these mega churches. I went and did research on this, and I'm gonna let this go. I went and did research on this. I asked ChatGPT through his comprehensive research, which took 15 minutes to figure out, that how do people actually make money in churches? And what people do, because I said, well, you don't own anything personally as a person who starts a church or a nonprofit. You don't own anything. So if people want to manipulate it, here's how they do it. They create wealth within the church, and therefore their family can live off the church's financials in perpetuity. That's why you see a lot of churches passing down legacy preaching, legacy ministry to generation after generation after generation after generation, because it's tax-free money that you can now put all your kids on salary, you could put your in-laws on salary, and everybody can just live off of this church in perpetuity with no taxes. And if a person wanted to be manipulative, that's what they would do. I'm not saying if you run in a functional church and just so happen your family and kids are ministers, but I'm saying if somebody wanted to game the system. You don't have to own anything, but the church owns equity. The church owns property. The church is making revenue that pays your salaries for everybody in your family and for the next 40, 50 years, 60 years. That's why churches buy property. Some of them, if they want to manipulate, they'll go and they'll buy property, and then that property is generating income, or they go sell the property and the church gets the money back, don't have to pay no taxes on it, and then they just continue to live off of it. And they have a housing allowance, food allowance, car allowance. And then they use the church's digital creative team to make videos and content on social media. And they're viral on social media with your tithes and offering. Then they go off and do other personal ventures that make them incredibly rich. And that's how the cycle go. Nonprofit, for-profit, and you just play the two and you become incredibly wealthy. If you want to do it the bad way. They do the same thing in nonprofits. They have shell companies and they do all this different stuff because you thinking, oh, he only make $50,000 salary. No, he don't. Because the editing team that they outsource is the company that he owned. The security team that they outsource is the security team that he or she owned. Therefore, they making money off of the nonprofit when they combine them like that. And if you want to be malicious, you do it to the extreme. You don't give back. You don't do anything else. You just make money. And you'll be worth hundreds of millions of dollars. all for the church. Anyway, I appreciate you guys. We got to get to the post-show clarity. It's going to be a short one today because I got to get up out of here. All right, we love you guys. Appreciate you. For anybody that's a member or if you want to be a member, after this show is post-show clarity. Y'all hold the phone. I'll see you on the other side.